United States Army is one of America's oldest and most respected institutions. For more than 200 years, the Army has been dedicated to following the standard of excellence set by George Washington's Continental Army, represented here by the Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps. Today's Army continues to encourage excellence in many fields, and especially on the soccer field. Today's Army knows that soccer is a sport that is coming of age in America. It's a sport that is played by millions of young Americans from all over our country. It's a sport that has an all-new American face. The Army has much in common with soccer coaches across the land. Both stress the importance of good training. Both believe in striving for excellence, encouraging young people to do the best they can, to be all that they can be. The U.S. Army presents Advanced Soccer Instruction. Learn advanced soccer techniques from some of the best Americans ever to play the sport. From the Cosmos and Team America, David Brcic, Jeff Durgan, Rick Davis, Perry Vanderbeck, Steve Meyers, Angelo DiBernardo, Darrell G., Rudy Glenn, and Erhard Kapp. In soccer, practice should always be made as realistic as possible. Day by day, during each practice session, the team should address itself to problem solving in just 1/3 of the field at a time. Before a team can perform as a coordinated unit, it must master the tactics it will use in various parts of the field. Accordingly, practice drills in this film will relate one by one to the relevant thirds of the field. We'll start with goalkeeping. Then we'll move to the defensive third. Next, we'll move to the middle. And finally, to the attacking third. Goalkeeping is the bedrock of team defense, since excelling here gives you a chance to win. Every practice session must have specific practice for the goalkeeper, who's unique in being the only one on the team who can use his hands.
Goalkeeping, I feel, is one of the most important positions on the field because he's the only person who can really lose or win a game on his own. His first responsibility, of course, is to keep the ball out of the net. But he also has two other main responsibilities. I think the first one is to direct his defense, and another very important one is to start the play. When the goalkeeper has the ball, he is the first line of offense, so he has to start the counterattack for his team.
Most goalkeeping drills should take place in front of the goalpost. After a warm-up, the keeper practices fundamental skills of diving and catching. First, the ball is thrown in such a way as to force the keeper to dive both low and high. Then the goalkeeper must practice stopping the balls that are kicked. Goalkeepers must attempt to catch the ball. Balls in the upper corner that can't be caught must be deflected with the upper hand. Balls in the lower corner must be deflected with the lower hand. Again, note that the ball is deflected toward the side. A crossed ball must be caught at the highest point of the jump, above and in front of the head. Crossed balls that can't be caught must be punched clear, traveling high, wide, and out of danger. Goalkeepers, like other players, should always try to practice their skills in game-like situations. That means with defenders in front of them and opponents attacking them. For hints on general team defense, let's turn to Jeff Durgan.
The aim of a team that loses possession of the ball immediately wants to get as many players behind the ball. We don't attack the ball right away. Everyone is prepared, everyone is positioned. Then one man closest to the ball can attack. Hopefully he'll win the ball.
The players retreat toward the top of the penalty box and delay the attack. While retreating, it is important for each defender to match up with an opponent. Pressure must be applied to the opponent in possession of the ball. A free back must be in position to cover the players in front of him. The aim of the organized defense is to deflect the attack to the side of the field and then to force a breakdown or interception.
An individual defender, first of all, wants to be goal side of his opponent, and second of all, he wants to be able to see not only the man, but the ball. These two basic things, very simple in positioning, and that's what we try to do, stay goal side, see the man, see the ball.
The defensive player in a one-on-one confrontation must try to prevent the opponent from receiving the ball. If the opponent does receive the ball, he must try to prevent him from turning. If the opponent turns, the defender must contain, retreat, delay, and force the opponent either towards the sideline or to the opponent's weaker foot. Watch how this takes place in an actual game. The defender, after forcing his opponent toward the corner, tackles when his teammate arrives.
Defensive heading must be done with power, with authority. The ball must be cleared high and hopefully wide so that an attacking player doesn't have a chance for a second shot.
On head clearance drills, you concentrate on jumping early and hitting the ball high and wide. If you clear the ball with your foot, strike it firmly and send it high and wide. When under pressure in front of the goal, clearances must be decisive, quick, and safe. A hallmark of good teams is their execution of basic clearing skills, especially under pressure situations like these. Practice coming out of the defensive third, possessing and controlling the ball. Remember that the sides of the field usually offer the most space where a basic give and go can be very effective. If the ball is won in the middle of the field is usually clear. And once again, a quick counter using the give and go can result in a goal.
The midfield area of the field is the transition area in a given game. The area of midfield is controlled by the players that tend to be the most skillful and tactically perceptive on the team. The midfielder's role in a game is to, when they have possession of the ball, to dictate the attack, move forward, distribute the ball as the situations call for it, and develop the tactness to try and create openings and opportunities to score.
The warm-up before practice should approximate the drills that will be done later. Here, the 5 versus 2 is ideal because it challenges players mentally by forcing them to anticipate and fake, and it requires the players to physically perform various soccer moves, to hit the ball with the inside as well as the outside part of the foot, to spin it and lift it. In these warm-ups, player movement is essential. 4 versus 2 plus 2 is a midfielder's drill. These players control the pace and direction of the attack, making the penetrating, possession, and switching passes. Penetration occurs when the 2 middle players are split by a pass. Possession is shown by passing short to players on either side. Switching is demonstrated by the long pass across the field to the 2 waiting players. After the switch, the 4 outside players sprint across the field, and the last 2 to arrive go into the middle, letting the 4 outside players start the exercise. The 2 inside players in the original sequence now rest and await the return of the ball. Midfielders must also master the give and go.
The give and go is probably one of the most effective ways of moving the ball up a field. There are a couple basic rules that you want to follow in a give and go, in that the player with the ball would like to dribble at the defensive player. This puts the defensive player in a very awkward position in that he must commit himself. At the point of committing himself, the player with the ball has another player on his team who's moved into a supporting position, and the player with the ball passes the ball with the outside of his foot, accelerates past the defensive player, and then receives the return pass in a wall pass sort of situation. In most situations, goals are scored by the forwards, but more often than not, the midfielder is the player that actually creates the opportunity.
To practice the give and go, you dribble at a defender and jockey him toward a supporting player. After quickly passing the ball to the feet of the supporting player, you sprint past the defender as the supporting player one-touches the ball forward in front of you. The give and go is so basic to the game, it must be practiced over and over. 2 players using the give and go, finishing with a shot on goal. Besides these drills, be sure to practice the give and go in scrimmage situations that approximate actual game conditions. Next, the art of dribbling.
Skill of excitement is being able to dribble, take players on one-on-one, score goals. Dribbling is most effective in the attacking third. And when a player is dribbling the ball, he's not only using his feet, he's also using his body, changing pace, changing direction, always trying to throw his opponent off.
A good dribbler always creates excitement. He can also turn relatively harmless situations into dangerous chances on goal. All players must practice dribbling. A good dribbler is a lethal weapon. Beat defenders in practice, and you're likely to beat them in a game. Practice does make dribbling exciting and dangerous to opponents as well. Watch this. Now let's move on to the art of shooting.
Attacking player is designed to be able to beat a man one-on-one on any occasion and to be able to be a fine finisher. Shooting should be practiced in game-like situations, doing 1-2s, turning with the goalkeeper in the nets at all times. Generally, low, hard shots are more difficult for a keeper to handle, more so than a high one. When shooting a low, hard shot to the far post, the ball has a chance to skid or deflect off the goalkeeper's hands, giving you another opportunity to score a goal.
Shooting is the ultimate skill, for good shooting makes goals. Shooting starts with the proper placement of the non-kicking foot next to the ball, pointing at the target. The knee of the kicking foot is over the ball, and the eyes are focused on the ball. The midline of the ball is struck with the instep. At the moment of contact, the kicking ankle is locked, and in the follow-through, the non-kicking foot lifts off the ground. The follow-through is natural, and the shooter lands on the kicking foot. Now let's see a complete shot at the goal. Shooting should be practiced with rolling balls, players in motion, and the goalkeeper in the goal. Shooting must also be practiced against a defender as well as a goalkeeper. And progressively, shooting must be practiced in game-like situations. Pressure training means training players to perform skills in swift succession. The aim of this drill is to score goals from 11 to 13 yards away, emphasizing accuracy and placement instead of power. As proficiency increases, a player is placed to defend against the shooter, forcing him to overcome the problem of the defender as well as the moving ball. To make it even more realistic, the server moves back and serves the ball high into the penalty area, first with no defender and then with a defender present. This makes it more of a challenge, and the finish can be with either the foot or the head. In actual play, you must put defenders out of position or bypass them before taking a shot at the goal. So this must be practiced in front of the goal with a goalkeeper present, two attackers moving against one defender and trying to finish with a shot on goal. This drill simulates game-type pressure, and note how the players finish with the inside of the foot and the outside of the foot. Scoring goals comes not only from dribbling and short passing, but from long passes and crosses, and they're scored by both the head and the foot. In practice, always follow through, attempting to attack the near and far posts. The attacker should sprint late and arrive at the contact point with speed. Since the height of the cross is sometimes unpredictable, players should be prepared to finish with either the foot or the head. Shooting at the goal must also be practiced from longer distances outside the penalty box. This is an especially useful practice for midfield players. 2 passes, a dribble, and a power shot at the goal, trying to aim for the posts. Shooting practice, though very important, is not enough by itself. Nothing takes the place of goal shooting during scrimmage situations, for a scrimmage approximates an actual game and helps to perfect the shot at the goal. In front of the goal, even under pressure, always remember that the one-touch redirection of a pass is the best solution. Shooting toward the far post must also be practiced during the scrimmage. Finally, in the practice of driving the ball into the net from outside the penalty area, one cannot overemphasize the importance of trying to shoot low and at the far post. Scoring grows out of long practice, out of mastering the skills of power and finesse, and it generates satisfaction and excitement. Regardless of how a goal is scored, one primal emotion always accompanies it. That emotion is pure joy, the joy of success. Success on the soccer field comes from hard work and a lot of practice. Here's Rick Davis of the Cosmos with a few tips on how to succeed in other ways.
Scoring goals is what soccer's all about. But scoring the big goals in life means getting a good education. If you're like most young people, you're probably looking forward to continuing your education in college, vocational, or technical school. I'd like to tell you about a great opportunity to accumulate money for your education through enlistment in the United States Army. I'll catch you later, David. The opportunity is called the Army College Fund. It works like this. In the Army, you set aside from $25 to $100 of your monthly pay into the Army College Fund. That amounts to a small fraction of your monthly Army salary. You also receive room, board, and other benefits. For every dollar you put into the fund, the Army puts in $5 or more.